Tony's Topics. What's happening, folks? Welcome to Tony's Topics. What are we talking about tonight? The NFL. It's NFL Wednesday, where I make the calls for who's going to win it out this weekend in the NFL. Okay, let's start it off. Honestly, this is probably one of the hardest weekends to call because it's a strange weekend. For some teams, these games don't even matter because they've already qualified for the playoffs. For other teams, these games are just crucial because it's their only way of getting into the playoffs. Okay, so let's talk about them. First up, Tennessee versus Jacksonville. A complete coin flip, even though it doesn't matter. Tennessee versus Jacksonville. Tennessee was starting to fight in their last game, which kind of seems a little bit desperate, which means maybe they're actually hungry for a win. I'll take Tennessee. Okay, next up, Philly versus Washington. Philadelphia, easy. They're hungry. They need the win. San Diego versus San Francisco. The game really doesn't mean much to San Francisco. They still have a great defense, but they're not running the ball with Kaepernick. On the other hand, the San Diego Chargers, the game really doesn't mean that much to them either. Hate to do it, but I guess I go San Diego Chargers. Okay, Cleveland versus Carolina. Cleveland versus Carolina. Johnny Manziel is really excited to play, so he's going to go 100%. Many of those receivers probably want to make up for last week so they don't get fired. Versus the Carolina Panthers, who are kind of fighting to win a game. I'd go, because, the Carolina Panthers technically are still in their bracket. I say the Carolina Panthers remembered that they were once a great team a year ago, and I say they pull that out. Although Johnny Manziel, I expect him to score this weekend. I think he's going to get a touchdown. Or maybe even more. Okay, next up. Detroit versus Chicago. Detroit, next. Defense, the end. Baltimore versus Houston. Baltimore, easy. Minnesota versus Miami. Again, one of these I don't care games. I take Miami. Atlanta versus the Saints. The Saints. The Saints are at the top of their division, I believe. They're, plus, you guys were a great team a year ago, so, yeah, I see the Saints all day on that one. New England versus the Jets. New England, please. That's not even a game. Well, let's see here. Does Tom Brady need it? Nah, but why lose? New England, still. Let's see here. If you're going to be out there, don't play half-heartedly because you don't want to get broken in half before the playoffs. You got to play anyway. Might as well beat them. An extra win feels good. And losing stinks. So, to the real winners, New England. Kansas City versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh all day. They're desperate for it. Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. Green Bay all day. It doesn't even need to be talked about. The Giants versus the St. Louis Rams. I like the St. Louis Rams. They love to upset people, so I'll take the St. Louis Rams. The Colts versus Dallas, the game of the week. Let's fast forward and come back to that Colts versus Dallas matchup, shall we? Because that's the actual game that, shall I say it matters? Okay, let's just call it right now. The Colts don't need it because they're already in. Thus, they don't want to get any injuries before the playoffs. Although losing does stink. On the other hand, Dallas absolutely needs it. And let's see here. I just go with Dallas. I think Dallas is hungry. I think Dallas wants it. I think DeMarco Murray is sick. I think Des Bryant is sick. And Tony Romo wants it, and they're too close. And the other team doesn't even need it. So, yeah, I think Dallas fights a little bit harder for this one. Not to mention, it's the Colts. I don't think the Colts really believe they're going to be able to get through the Broncos, and even if they did, through the Patriots. So I take Cowboys on that one. The Colts are a great team. Andrew Luck is a bad dude, but you're not getting through the Broncos and the Patriots. Forget that. Alrighty then. So, next up. Let's see here. Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh all day. Pittsburgh needs it. Pittsburgh. Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. All right, I think I've already said these, haven't I? Yeah, Green Bay all day. Yeah, I said this already. So let's get into Buffalo and Oakland. Buffalo, but it really doesn't matter, but Buffalo. And Seattle versus Arizona. That's a real game. But yet, it's kind of not. Arizona's already in there. Arizona's still recovering from the fact that they've lost 2 quarterbacks this season, and thus they are a fragment of the team that they once were. Whereas the Seahawks have their defense completely together, and just look up my video on why Russell Wilson should be the Pro Bowl quarterback. Why he should, I mean, seriously, Super Bowl ring, under his rookie contract, more wins in his first 3 years than any quarterback ever, and he's the new generation of quarterback, a running quarterback who is not only accurate with throwing the ball, but also can run the ball. Thus, you don't have to put as much money into your offensive line, your receivers, or your running backs. I mean, you can still put money into them, but you can focus more money on the defense because you have a quarterback who can really make guys better, or if they won't get it, he can do it himself. So, yeah, Seahawks all day on that one. Yeah, even if Arizona was at 100%, I'd still, with the way the Seahawks are playing, I may still go Seahawks, but at least I don't have to make that decision, so I won't. So, Seahawks. And finally, Denver versus Cincinnati Bengals. Denver wants it. Cincinnati needs it. Cincinnati doesn't like to lose, but at the same time, Peyton Manning doesn't like to lose. So, and if you're going to kill somebody, if you're going to be out there, might as well kill them. So, sorry, Bengals, but it's time for it to be over. It's time to put your dream away. Alrighty then. So I see Denver. And that's my time, and that's my topics. Go NFL. Woo!